Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing a quick but really detailed look at some very specific source notes.
Yeah, we're diving in.
Our mission, basically, is to analyze this recent plant discovery. It's a fascinating case of botanical mistaken identity.
It really is.
We're kind of turning a simple trip to the grocery store, the plant section at the mall, into a lesson. A lesson on why getting specific really matters in horticulture.
And it just goes to show, doesn't it? You can find this, deep rabbit hole of knowledge right there next to the flower bouquets.
Exactly.
Our source material here, it's basically raw gardening notes.
Yeah.
Super practical. They chronicle the moment the author spots this plant. Dark green leaves, heart-shaped, really striking.
Right, and you see those heart shapes, and bam! The immediate thought is Caladium. Makes total sense, yeah.
Oh, completely. If you're into gardening, you know caladiums. Big, showy leaves, often colorful, definitely heart-shaped. They grab your attention.
It's that instant visual, isn't it?
It is a classic cue. But this is where, looking closer really matters. Structural analysis. You see one thing, the leaf shape, and your brain just spits out common names.
But the author here, they clearly didn't stop at that first glance. They dug deeper.
They absolutely did. And the result, well, it's a huge shift, taxonomically speaking.
This plant was definitely not a caladium. Not even close, apparently.
Nope, turned out to be a fern. A specific type, the Heart Fern, Hemionitis arifolia, aptly named, you could say.
Which is, I think, a great lesson for you listening. Common shapes, they can totally throw you off.
Exactly. A heart shape could be an aroid, like a caladium, or it could be this spore-bearing fern. The devil's in those botanical details, always.
Okay, so let's unpack those details. That brings us to part one. Really defining this Hemionitis arifolia. What was it about this plant that made the gardener go, wait, this is a fern?
Well, the notes point out it's a compact fern. That's important right off the bat.
Compact, meaning like small, manageable.
Yeah, exactly. It signals something likely suited for indoors, not like those massive tree ferns you might see outside.
But visually it sounds stunning. The notes say the fronds are glossy.
Glossy, yeah. Gives them that healthy, deep green shine. And yes, definitely heart-shaped. You can see why the caladium thought came up first.
It's the perfect disguise, almost.
But then, here's the kicker. The feature that really blows that first idea out of the water. Caladiums have smooth leaf stalks, right? Petioles.
Okay.
But this heart fern, the Hemionitis arifolia, it's defined by its stems. The source describes them as short and fuzzy.
Fuzzy stems. That's really specific. What does a texture like that tell you? Does it, do something for the plant?
Often, yes. That's a great question. That fuzziness, botanists call it indumentum. It can be protective.
Okay.
For ferns, it often helps manage moisture, like a tiny shield, maybe slowing water loss or trapping humidity from the air around it.
So the fuzz is actually a clue to its needs.
It's a structural clue, yeah. Points directly towards some kind of specialized environmental adaptation. It's not just decorative.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from thinking big showy caladium to identifying this compact, glossy fern with fuzzy stems.
Quite a jump.
And looking at the source context, this wasn't just some random observation, was it? These notes are part of this huge series, Notes on Gardening, Part 701.
Part 701. I mean, that number alone tells you something.
It really does.
That's not just experience, that's consistency,
Yeah.
discipline, careful documentation. When a gardener keeping that kind of detailed track makes a note about a plant's needs, you trust it. It comes from, deep practical understanding.
Absolutely. And that understanding, that's what lets the author pivot so fast, from noticing the fuzzy stems to figuring out its very specific environmental needs, which leads us right into part two.
The unique habitat requirements of this heart fern.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Because this is where it breaks the mold,
Yeah.
The sort of general idea of a fern.
When you picture a fern, you think, well, I think of those tough ones growing wild outside, handling some sun, some shade, pretty resilient.
Right, those robust types in forests. They cope with dappled light, varying conditions. They're survivors.
But the Hemionitis arifolia sounds like it's the complete opposite. The source specifically contrasts it with those other wild ferns the author grows outdoors. It stresses a non-negotiable requirement.
Yes, a crucial one. About light.
What is it?
The notes are crystal clear. The Hemionitis arifolia does not tolerate direct sunlight.
Not just prefers shade, but zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance. That's not needs filtered light. It's a hard boundary. Even a little bit of direct sun can scorch those delicate fronds badly.
Wow. Okay, going back to those fuzzy stems we talked about. Does that factor in? Does the lack of sun tolerance relate to the texture? Maybe it's compensating?
That's a really smart connection.
Yeah.
It very likely does. If you think about where it evolved, probably under a really dense forest canopy. Those thin, glossy fronds. Maybe the fuzz for humidity. They're just hyper-adapted for low light. They don't have the defenses like thick, waxy coatings that sun-loving plants have. The fuzz helps with moisture, sure, but it's no sunscreen against harsh UV.
So this detail, it's absolutely critical for you if you're listening and thinking about getting one. Put a heart fern in a sunny window.
And you've basically doomed it.
Yeah.
All because you didn't know its very specific needs.
That's the practical takeaway then.
It really is. That strict light rule, it defines everything about how you use this plant. It stops being just a pretty thing from the store and becomes, an excellent indoor plant specifically for those dark corners where nothing else seems to grow.
Or for outdoors, it needs that perfectly shaded little microclimate.
Exactly. Full shades, specialist territory.
That specificity, it really is powerful. It dictates placement, success, everything.
It does. It moves you away from just guessing into precise, applied plant science, even from a quick observation.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to part 3, which honestly I find just as interesting as the ID stuff. It's about the gardener's decision.
Ah, the wisdom part.
Yeah. We know the author's experience, right? Part 701. And they'd recently managed to grow another batch of ferns, so they're actively succeeding with ferns.
That detail about the other batch, it's key. It tells you they have ongoing projects. Success, yes, but also demands on their time, their space, their resources.
Right. So here's this beautiful, compact, glossy, fuzzy fern. Seems perfect for someone interested in ferns.
Checks all the boxes visually.
And yet, the author decided not to buy it. The notes say they passed at this moment.
And this, maybe, is the biggest insight from these notes. Beyond just plant ID, why pass up what seems like a perfect find?
Why?
Because good gardening, like Part 701 suggests, it's about discipline. It's not just about impulse buys.
That volume number, 701, it implies a system, doesn't it? A lot going on.
A highly structured approach, most likely. If you're already managing, 701 notes worth of garden projects, adding a new plant isn't trivial, especially one with such rigid demands, like the zero direct sun rule.
It's a calculated risk. It's not just about, do I have shelf space?
Exactly. It's about, do I have the right space? The specific conditions. Do I have the bandwidth in my routine? Think about the care cycle.
Right. They've already got this other batch of ferns.
So adding another species, especially a specialized one like this heart fern, means new protocols, potentially messing with existing setups, needing more daily attention. The decision to pass, it isn't lack of interest. It's strategic. It's resource management.
It's like knowing your limits, knowing what you can successfully integrate right now.
Precisely. The author identified it, understood its needs, and realized, nope, not the right time for my system. That ability to walk away, that's expert practice.
Yeah. Separates the thoughtful grower from maybe the compulsive collector. Okay, let's try and synthesize this whole journey for you, the listener. We started with that visual clue, right? The heart shape.
Which immediately made us think Caladium, a common misstep.
Then we looked closer at the structure. We found those fuzzy stems, the compact size.
And nailed the true identity. Hemionitis arifolia, the heart fern.
Then we unlocked its crucial care secret. Absolutely no direct sun, zero tolerance.
Making it a prime candidate for those specific, deeply shaded spots, especially indoors.
And finally, we saw that bit of gardener's wisdom in action.
Yeah, the author's decision. Prioritizing existing projects, showing the discipline needed for complex, long-term gardening success, like reaching Part 701.
So we took this very niche piece of plant knowledge, the needs of this sun-hating heart fern, and where did we find it? Not in some remote jungle.
But sitting there in a grocery store, inside a mall, a totally artificial commercial setting.
Which raises, I think, a really interesting final thought for you to ponder.
Yeah, what does that tell us? About the hidden complexities, the specialized needs of plants we encounter every day in the most mundane places.
Like every generic houseplant you see on those shelves, next to the cereal or whatever.
It has a code, doesn't it? A history. A set of very specific, finely tuned requirements baked into its structure. They aren't just green things.
They're all highly specialized survivors, just waiting for someone to figure out their needs.
The question is, are we actually paying attention? Are we giving them the specific care their unique structures demand?
That's definitely your nugget of knowledge to chew on until our next deep dive.